Miles McBride. We noted when surgery happened that it was a 6 to 8 week timetable. That was the belief. And then, shortly after that, I had kept hearing that there was, optimism and positivity about his rehab and how it was going, and the idea that it would fall within that range. And I haven't heard anything to date that leads me to think otherwise. I still think there's positivity there. I think that, things have been going well, and I don't think there's any reason to fret or to worry if you're a Knicks fan about Miles McBride not being back and being ready to go for the postseason. That's the trajectory that I've kind of heard about and talk to people about, and I haven't heard anything different than that. So I think things are going well there with the McBride rehab, and we'll see where that goes. But I think that's solid news, John, right? For the fan base and the organization. Who do you pull from the rotation though when he comes back?
I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, when you bring up McBride, and the thing, I mean, look, McBride brings so many intangibles. You look at all the lineup data from the last few years, obviously, his own point of attack defense. I know Alvarado was kind of brought in to fill that role, but McBride helps them in so many ways. But just like a really specific thing, he is their best and most consistent above the break 3-point shooter. And you look at this team, it's actually funny. Every player on the roster, more or less, is shooting, or who actually shoots threes, is shooting above 40% from the corners, which makes sense because they're the best corner 3-point shooting team in the league. But where they do tend to run into issues, and some of their more voluminous 3-point shooters are not as good above the break, that's McBride's specialty. He's above 40% from above the break. And I think in that very specific way, he helps with your spacing in a way that they don't, again, quite have with him out of there. I mean, Mohamed Diawara, there is not anyone out there in Knicks Nation, I promise you, that is higher on Mohamed Diawara's potential than I am. I love seeing him out there. I love what he's able to do. He has absolutely helped this team win basketball games this year. Put aside what he might be a year or two from now. I would just have a little bit of a little bit of caution for anybody who thinks that he's just going to be able to continue to get these like 12, 13 minutes a game, because those minutes are just not there to be had if you're going to go out there, if you're going to play Alvarado and McBride and Shamet. And I just don't see where else you go. So what I think probably makes the most sense, you give Diawara maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe first half, just to get him out there and kind of give one of your bigger wings a little breather. But if I'm looking at where the minutes coming from, probably a little bit from, a couple of your starters, and then I'm getting the rest of them probably from Diawara.
Yeah, certainly interesting decisions to make when you get there, if you get there. But so far, just positive stuff out of the McBride rehab. We're talking about Miles McBride and how things kind of, there's been optimism around his rehab and that 6 to 8 week timetable. If you're Mike Brown, Miles McBride's fully ready to go. Is it as simple as Mohamed Diawara out of the rotation, Miles McBride in? Like, how do you handle that?
This is I guess when you think about it from this standpoint, you bring in Jose Alvarado to be able to play a lot of those Miles McBride minutes, right? And now you've kind of got two options at the same spot. I don't know that you can just remove Mohamed Diawara, because Diawara brings the size, he brings athleticism, he brings somebody who can play above the rim. He's going to shoot the same number of threes as Deuce in the same amount of time. Bro shot 13 threes in 14 minutes or something crazy like that. I think that it'll be situational, but I think Jose and the way he's played, the aggression, the speed that he's been bringing, he's just not scared of anything. Offensively, he's trying to get downhill, get to the rack. Defensively, he's just wreaking havoc all over the place. I think we start to see maybe a little bit more of that. I'd love to see a Jose Alvarado, Miles McBride, who else? OG Anunoby, Mohamed Diawara, Mitchell Robinson lineup. Like, now who's going to score on? So I don't know. I think for Mike, it's one of those things where it's a good problem to have. You can file it under that. But I don't know that you just remove Diawara and add McBride, because Diawara's giving you 6'9" athleticism and still giving you that 3-point shot. Versus McBride, I think McBride's he's gonna need some rope, right? He's gonna need to ramp up and get his confidence back in his body. So we'll see. I think Jose is still gonna have a lot of those minutes even once Deuce gets back, and then it becomes situational from there. We'll see.
the one thing too, Kristian, we were talking about when you were out, and thank you, Verizon, is that the defense. I mean, is it an aberration to you what you've seen since, as John mentioned, going back to, I guess, late January, mid January? Is it an aberration, or is this what they are and what they will be defensively?
I think it depends on the opponent on the night, like we're seeing now that when this team is actually motivated and wants to play good basketball, they lock in and defend. But if they're not motivated, if they're just playing against, I don't know, the Indiana Pacers or the Utah Jazz, they tend to take their foot off the gas. So I think this is a team that can show us that they'll play good basketball, I guess, especially when it matters in the playoffs, right? But we saw what it looked like when they lost 9 of those 11 games and they weren't really motivated, right? We've seen what it looks like when this team isn't when this team is just in I guess we'll call it cruise control. I've gained confidence in this team's ability to perform under pressure. So I think that what we've been able to see from them in these games recently has been, okay, well, if they're going to show up and play this type of defense, well, this is the new standard that we're going to be able to hold them to come playoff time. But I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that this is going to be in every, even though it's been pretty consistent for a month now. It's only a matter of time. What does coaches say? It's the ebb and flow of the season. Mike Brown likes to say sometimes we're going to be up here, sometimes we're going to be down here. We don't want to stay down here too long. I assume at some point there's going to be some sort of regression, but I think they're proving to them. It's proof of concept, right? It's proof that, hey, we can play at this high of a level. Let's challenge ourselves to do it every night. So I don't know if it'll happen every night, but I think they're showing themselves that they can at least show up and try every night.